Tactical Performance Center.
Hi folks, Ross from Tactical Performance Center here. Now, according to TPC doctrine and philosophy, the stance is controlling the recoil and the grip is controlling the muzzle flip. The grip is going to return the gun, the sights back to alignment, but the stance will contribute to return that sight alignment to the same point of aim. In TPC, we believe that the main principle behind efficient stance is to shift our center of gravity forward. It's how to improve that center of gravity forward. Now, head position. A slight tune-up in your head position can have a significant difference in your shooting performance in a rapid manner. Imagine that you just saw something very interesting that caught your attention on the horizon, so you slightly move your head forward. I'll keep that position of my head and I'll fire 5 shots. Now, that slight adjustment in the head will have a significant contribution to shifting your center of gravity forward. What else we have in the kitchen for you? How to control a muzzle flip. What is a muzzle flip? Muzzle flip is that torque motion when the gun fires. Now, in order to shoot fast and also to have a reasonable accuracy, we need to learn how to control that motion. And the faster the gun goes back to sight alignment, the faster you will be able to shoot again. So, what is the most important thing to improve your muzzle flip control? Wrist stiffness. If you stiffen your wrist and hold it just stiffen passively without trying to time the muzzle flip, just hold it and stay passive. If I focus on my wrist stiffness, I'll just stiffen my wrist and control the gun just with one finger. Observe how this gun will behave during the recoil. Observe the muzzle flip. Only with one finger. And that's one of the main principles of the grip and the ability to control the muzzle flip. Now, if we build all the principles that are behind, we will be able to stay completely passive, do not change nothing during the shot. And if I follow all that requirements, theoretically, I suppose to fire multiple shots in a very tight group without even aiming. Why? It's like a gun vise. So when you test a firearm accuracy, what you do, you clamp that firearm in that gun vise, and then you have a special device that you're pulling the trigger with. Now, we're using our body and we're creating that biomechanical gun vise. And if I stay absolutely passive with applying the same pressure and all the other principles behind my stance and grip, we'll be able to keyhole that target, which in our case is a blank sheet of paper. Now, let's put that hypothesis in a test and do that little experiment. All right, so I have a loaded gun. I'll build my shooting stance, I'll build my grip, I'll present the gun on the target, perfectly aligned sights. Then I intentionally will lower the gun so I'm not going to look at the sights at all, and I'll stay focused to stay very consistent without changing nothing, using only kinesthetic awareness, not on visual aiming. So, we have a proof that our hypotheses work. Now imagine how easy it will be if we include the vision into the equation. Remember, we aiming with our stance and grip. The eyes simply confirm the proper sight picture. A handgun shooting can be very easy if you know the principles behind the stance and the grip that will guarantee you such a performance. We can use group patterns like size and shape to analyze if we have some problems. In other words, the grouping will tell the story. If the hits are climbing high, the problem can be caused of two reasons. First, can be your shooting stance, too upright. Shift your center of gravity forward or simply lean forward a bit. Second, your wrists are not stiffened enough and the sides do not recover back to alignment. If the group is spreading sideways, there is not enough friction with the gun. Simply grip harder. If the hits are going down, you are anticipating the recoil. If the shots start hitting down left and you're a right-handed shooter, that's a clear indication that you have a problem with the trigger control. And vice versa, if the group goes down right and you're lefty. Simply use less effort on your trigger pull. I hope to see you on the range.
If you like the video, visit the online training page on our website or check the calendar section to sign up for our in-person courses. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.